Welcome to Lost Tech Lab 7, where we uncover forgotten inventions, ancient machines, and lost technologies that were centuries ahead of their time. From steam engines of the ancients to mysterious robots of history, every video unlocks a secret the world almost forgot. Subscribe, like, and join us as we bring the past back to life.
Imagine a world without iPhones, smartwatches, or even a simple bedside alarm clock. Now picture yourself living in medieval Europe, a time before electricity and the ubiquitous snooze button. Yet, believe it or not, people had a remarkably clever way of waking up right on time. And no, it wasn't just a rooster. Instead, they invented something so ingenious, so far ahead of its time, that it feels like a piece of lost technology. This was a water-powered alarm clock, a device that could literally wake you by splashing water in your face. This is the captivating story of one of the strangest and most innovative inventions of the Middle Ages. It's a forgotten device that powerfully demonstrates how creative and resourceful humans have always been when it comes to mastering the elusive concept of time. Welcome to Lost Tech Lab 7, where we journey back through history to rediscover the incredible machines and forgotten inventions that shaped our world. Before we dive into the mechanics of this medieval marvel, let's ask a fundamental question. How did people keep track of time before the advent of mechanical clocks? For millennia, humanity relied on natural phenomena and simple yet effective instruments. In ancient civilizations, time was primarily measured by the sun's movement across the sky, using sundials. These devices were effective during daylight hours but rendered useless at night or on cloudy days. The need for consistent timekeeping, independent of weather or light, spurred further innovation. Ancient Egyptians, for instance, developed shadow clocks and later the first known water clocks, or clepsydrae, around 1500 BCE. These early water clocks measured time by the steady drip of water from one container to another. The rising or falling water level indicated the passage of hours. The Greeks and Romans refined these water clocks, using them in courts to limit speech durations and in daily life. The Chinese also developed sophisticated water clocks, some incorporating complex gears and figurines that marked the hours. These ancient devices laid the foundational principles for later medieval innovations. Fast forward to medieval society, particularly in Europe. While sundials and candle clocks, candles with evenly spaced markings that burned down hour by hour, were common, they lacked the precision and reliability needed for certain critical tasks. Church bells marked the hours, but someone still had to ring them. The rhythm of medieval life, especially within monasteries, demanded unprecedented temporal accuracy. Monks followed strict prayer schedules known as the canonical hours, which began long before sunrise. Missing these prayers was not an option. It was a spiritual and communal obligation. Farmers needed to wake up early to tend to animals and prepare for market. Merchants had to reach markets at precise hours to conduct business effectively. Timekeeping wasn't just a convenience. It was a fundamental necessity for religious devotion, economic activity, and social order. This growing demand for precise, automated timekeeping spurred inventors to look beyond existing methods. They sought a device that could operate independently, reliably, and even in the dark. This is where the ancient concept of the water clock found a new, ingenious application. Water clocks, as we've seen, were not new in the Middle Ages. Their principles had been understood for thousands of years, from the Nile to the Yellow River. The idea was elegantly simple. Water drips steadily from one container into another, and the changing water level measures time. But medieval inventors, driven by the specific needs of their era, took this ancient concept a revolutionary step further. They posed a critical question. What if the same water that measures time could also serve a practical function, like waking someone up? This innovative leap transformed a time-measuring device into an automated alarm. And thus, the medieval water-powered alarm clock was conceived and brought to life. It was a testament to human ingenuity, combining ancient hydraulic principles with a novel mechanical application. This wasn't just about telling time, it was about controlling it and using it to orchestrate daily life. This invention highlights a crucial aspect of technological progress. Often, it's not about inventing something entirely new, but about creatively repurposing existing knowledge to solve contemporary problems. The water alarm clock perfectly embodies this principle of iterative innovation. Here's how this fascinating piece of lost technology typically functioned, showcasing its clever engineering. A primary container of water was carefully calibrated. This container would slowly drain or fill over a specific period, perhaps 6 hours depending on the design. As the water level changed, it would either raise a float or lower a counterweight. At the precise moment the desired time elapsed, the water's action would trigger a mechanical lever. This lever, in turn, could activate a small bell or gong, producing an audible alarm. But some designs were far more dramatic and, frankly, unforgettable. In these versions, the water's action would cause a smaller container, often positioned above the sleeper, to tip over. The result? A sudden, cold splash of water directly onto the sleeping person's face. Yes, you literally got woken up by a dousing of water. It was undeniably practical, incredibly effective, and certainly more shocking than any modern snooze button. Imagine the jolt of cold water. It guaranteed you wouldn't be hitting snooze. Some historical accounts even describe more elaborate devices where the water's weight would eventually tip the entire bed or pull a string connected to a series of bells. These weren't just simple alarms, they were complex mechanical systems powered by nothing more than gravity and the steady flow of water. This type of water-powered alarm clock was not a common household item. Its complexity and specific utility meant it was most likely used by particular segments of medieval society. Primarily, these were monks and scholars in monasteries and early universities. Why them? Because their lives were governed by incredibly precise schedules. Monks, as mentioned, had to adhere to the canonical hours, which dictated specific times for prayer throughout the day and night. A reliable, automated alarm was indispensable for maintaining their spiritual discipline. For scholars, particularly those studying astronomy, medicine, or mathematics, accurate timekeeping was equally vital. They often worked through the night, observing celestial bodies or conducting experiments, and needed a dependable way to measure hours and mark specific intervals. For these individuals, a water-powered alarm wasn't just a convenience. It was an essential tool that enabled their work and devotion. It allowed them to maximize their productivity and fulfill their duties without constant manual checks of time. In fact, some medieval manuscripts and illustrations describe these inventions in remarkable detail. These historical records prove that sophisticated timekeeping was already becoming a kind of science, long before the widespread adoption of modern mechanical clocks. They reveal a society deeply engaged with the challenge of mastering time. So, if these water alarms were so ingenious and effective, why don't we still have water-splashing alarm clocks today? The answer lies in the relentless march of technological progress. By the 14th century, a new invention began to emerge that would fundamentally change timekeeping forever: the mechanical clock. These early mechanical clocks, often powered by weights and regulated by escapements, were revolutionary. Clock towers began to rise across Europe, becoming prominent features of cities and towns. Soon after, smaller, more portable mechanical clocks followed. Mechanical clocks offered several distinct advantages over their water-powered predecessors. They were generally more reliable, less prone to freezing in winter, and certainly less messy. They didn't require constant refilling of water or the risk of a cold splash. As mechanical clock technology improved and became more accessible, the water alarm clock gradually faded into history. It became one of those quirky, forgotten inventions that remind us of the incredible creativity and problem-solving spirit of the past. Its obsolescence wasn't a failure, but a natural progression in the evolution of timekeeping technology. What's truly fascinating is how similar the underlying principles of these medieval devices are to the gadgets we use today. The human desire for automated, reliable alarms remains constant, only the technology has evolved. Today, we still want alarms that can wake us effectively, whether with sound, light, or vibration. Some cutting-edge sleep tech even incorporates features like mist sprays or gentle pillow movements to wake you subtly. These modern innovations echo the medieval water alarm's direct, physical approach to waking. In essence, the medieval water alarm was a distant ancestor of our modern smart alarm systems. It was an early attempt at personalized, automated time management. The only significant difference? Their method was a little more wet. So, the next time you hit snooze on your smartphone, take a moment to appreciate the journey of timekeeping technology. Imagine living in the Middle Ages where your alarm clock might literally dump cold water on your face to ensure you got up. It puts our modern conveniences into a fascinating historical perspective. Lost inventions like the medieval water-powered alarm clock remind us that human creativity is truly timeless. From ancient sundials to sophisticated water clocks, and from early mechanical devices to today's smartwatches, humanity has always been chasing one fundamental goal: control over time. This journey through tech history shows us that innovation isn't a modern phenomenon. It's a continuous thread woven throughout human civilization. Every invention, no matter how simple or complex, builds upon the knowledge and ingenuity of those who came before. If you enjoyed this captivating journey into forgotten technology and the ingenious minds of the past, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to Lost Tech Lab 7 for more explorations into the incredible machines and inventions the world has forgotten. Share this video with a friend who loves history, technology, and weird inventions, because here we bring lost technology back to life, one fascinating story at a time.